Hello and welcome to the Bridgewater-Raritan Council of School Associations Candidates Night for the Board of Education. I'm Gianna Jacobowski.
And I'm Noah Powelson.
This year, we have 4 candidates seeking election for the 3 open Bridgewater positions for the Bridgewater-Raritan Board of Education, and 3 candidates seeking election for the 1 open Raritan position for the Bridgewater-Raritan Board of Education.
The candidates are Jarrett Hahn for Bridgewater, Rebecca Hasuna for Bridgewater, Hector Menendez for Bridgewater, Barry Walker for Bridgewater, Umesh Agarwal for Raritan, Jeff McNally for Raritan, and Mike Pepe for Raritan.
The format for tonight's forum will be as follows. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, which may include personal and professional background, reasons for seeking election, and what the candidate feels their role will be on the board. Following the opening statements, the candidates will answer 3 questions. Each candidate will be given up to 3 minutes to answer each question. Following the 3 questions, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to give a closing statement. In the interest of time, Noah and I request that the time limits be adhered to throughout the evening. We will hold our hands up when each candidate has 30 seconds remaining, so please try to complete statements when you see one of our hands. Let's go to the opening statements, beginning with Mr. Hahn.
Thank you, Council students, Mr. Black and Mr. Linzer, and BRTV for hosting this event. It's great to see some practical application of the skills learned by the school. My name is Jarrett Hahn. I was born and raised in New Jersey and actually spent my whole career of elementary, middle school, and high school in the public school system. I attended college down in Florida, and when I came back, I continued my education in strength and conditioning, human performance, and rehabilitation. I'm a continual student and believe that you should never stop learning, either academically and practically. My wife and I have owned and operated our own training facility over the past 9 years, and we've worked with all ages of life and genuinely enjoy interacting with people while improving their quality of life. My family and I moved to Bridgewater in 2020 and immediately felt at home within the community. I've had the pleasure to coach my 2 sons and other children in town through various sports. My role as a Board of Education member would be to take a non-biased and holistic approach to the issues and concerns of the community, create better communication with the parents and stakeholders to contact and inform them on policy changes, and I want to also be able to encourage other parents to get more involved and informed in the curriculum and to be the voice of parents who care about the mental, physical health along with the safety of Bridgewater kids.
Good evening. Thank you to the Council of Schools Association, BRTV, the students, teachers, staff, the advisors, our district, as well as our Superintendent Beers, and the entire BOE for hosting this event tonight. My name is Rebecca Hasuna. I have considered running for the Board of Education for several years now, and have reached a place in my life where I finally feel like I have the time to focus on the role properly. I'm a near lifelong resident of Somerset County and an 18-year resident of Bridgewater. I graduated from Boundbrook High School as well as Penn State University. I have 2 daughters, Juliana, who graduated in 2021, and Amelia, who is a sophomore at the high school. I volunteered in our town throughout the years as a board member of the Moms Club, a volunteer basketball coach with our recreation department, board of member of the PTO at Van Holden for a number of years, and a classroom mom for countless years as well. If you are a not-in-the-face kickballer, you may have met me on the field last year too. My husband and I also own a strong local business based in Bridgewater and Raritan. We prepare a healthy school lunch for most private preschools, daycares, and a few public schools as well, and we deliver meals all over the state. During COVID, we also opened a popular seafood spot called Lobster Alley, so I may have met a lot of you there. Prior to this, I had a career involving contract negotiations and customer service in the hotel industry. During my time away from Somerset County, I've lived in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, California, and Jamaica. My background gives me a strong appreciation for the complexities of being an effective board member and the confidence to participate fully and meaningfully. I made the decision to run for Board of Education in March, and I've been attending seminars weekly and gathering as much information as possible so that if elected, I can hit the ground running. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to thank BRTV, the Council of Students, including Mr. Black and Mr. Linzer, that have kindly hosted this forum. I would also like to thank my running mate, Jared Hahn, as we work hard together on this campaign. My name is Hector Menendez. I was born and raised in New Jersey and have attended public schools throughout my formative years. I've been a Bridgewater resident for over 17 years and chose to move here for the great school system, the quality of life. My daughter graduated from Bridgewater High School in 2020 and is currently pursuing a double major. My sons are currently in their sophomore and senior years at BRHS. I'm a dentist and have been in private practice since 2006, serving patients in Union, New Jersey and the surrounding areas. I've been fortunate to have different work experiences throughout my life. After graduating college, I held positions as a teacher, a CDL licensed truck driver, as a university lab scientist. I also spent some time in graduate school, earning a master's degree in biomedical science and later a dental degree. I currently have roughly 20 years experience as a healthcare provider and a small business owner. I would leverage that experience to help our students and the community at large. It's important to remember that the Board of Ed investment accounts for the largest percentage of tax revenue. As a BOE member, my role will be to improve and maintain a safe, well-rounded, academically challenging school district where students, parents, educators, and the greater community experience a positive return on investment. It's an investment after all. Where independent thinking and learning are encouraged and where students and their families feel proud. I will use multiple forms of communication, transparency, and fiscal responsibility, both as guideposts and to encourage parental community involvement in the school curriculum and in their child's development. Thank you.
Evening. First, I'd like to thank the Council of Schools for sponsoring Candidates Night, the BRTV advisors, the crew, and our moderators, Gianna and Noah, this evening. I've lived in Bridgewater for 23 years. My wife, Lorraine, a New Jersey native, and we moved here in 2000. We chose Bridgewater for its reputation as a great family community with excellent schools. Our daughter, Sarah, is a sophomore in college and graduated from BR in 2022, and she is also a BRTV alumni. So we also have a dog named Tux to make sure we live up to our name, Walker, so he keeps us pretty active. I attended Carnegie Mellon University and received a Bachelor of Science degree in physics. Following graduation, I began working as an engineer and then moved into the technical sales and marketing area. Through this work, I had the opportunity to support the successful achievement of numerous programs. Serving on the board the last 9 years has been quite a privilege. I do my best to perform the duty at the highest level. I keep in mind that every student gets the education they deserve, and we meet them where they are, and they can excel at high levels. My fellow board members, the district administration, the New Jersey School Board Association have provided me with a wealth of support, training, and guidance to help me become an effective and collaborative board member. I would be honored to be reelected to continue the role on this board. Thank you.
Hello. First, I would like to thanks to CSA, BRTV, Mr. Black, Mr. Linzer, and all teachers and students for making this event possible. Thank you. I know it takes lots of effort to bring it to reality. This is truly appreciated. I would like to share my background. My name is Umesh Agrawal, and I have lived in Bridgewater and Raritan for the last 25 years. I have a degree in mechanical engineering from India, and I came to the US in 1984 with one suitcase and $10 in my pocket to pursue American dream. I went to University of New Mexico, Albuquerque to earn my MBA. While studying MBA, I also served as a teaching assistant, teaching undergrad students. All my three children graduated from Bridgewater-Raritan school system. After their high school, they pursued further higher education and specialization. This reflects my strong commitment to educational excellence and accountability. I have been working for J&J for the last 33 years. I am a career finance person and currently holds the finance director position in J&J. As a member of the Board of Education, my role will be that of a devil's advocate. I will strive for transparency, will ensure strategic actions are well considered and beneficial to our students and all stakeholders. I'm committed to driving excellence and holding myself, BOE, and the school administration accountable for delivering real, tangible results that must benefit our students and stakeholders. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff McNally. I want to thank the CSA, BRTV, fellow board candidates, board members, and the students and staff who are all present here tonight. I'm excited and thrilled to be here and part of this process in running for the Board of Education seat in Raritan. I offer a different and unique perspective. This perspective is drawn from many years of experience working as a tradesman and businessman and owner. I am a graduate of Somerset County Votech High School. After that, I attended a 4-year carpenter apprentice night school. I worked successfully as a union carpenter for 20 years, leading up to a leadership position as a project foreman. I proudly took part in building the Bridgewater Commons Mall, Johnson & Johnson office and research buildings in Raritan, and the Merck Pharmaceutical building in White House, just to name a few. I've owned my well pump and water conditioning business for the last 35 years, with my wife serving Central Jersey. We have 1 daughter and 3 grandchildren. Raritan has been my residence for a total of 20 years. If elected to the board, I will bring my unique perspective and skill set to the forefront while being open-minded to new thoughts, suggestions, and concepts. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Pepe. I also want to thank the CSA, our moderators, and everyone here at BRTV, and all my fellow candidates from both towns for sharing their thoughts and views on the school. So thank you very much. So my name is Mike Pepe, and I am proud to be Raritan's member of the Board of Education. As a teacher in another district, I sometimes attended board meetings to learn about how schools are governed and how policies are crafted and decisions are made. 2 summers ago, the board president put out a request. Raritan's seat had been vacant for almost 2 months, and no one in town put their name forward to serve. I went back and forth for a few days, not knowing exactly what I'd be getting myself into if I tried out for it. But after reflecting on my experiences in the classroom and in education, and asking my friends if I was crazy, I decided to apply. I'd gone to Rutgers to study political science with an eye towards going to law school. But a job helping kids with homework in an after-school program caught my eye, and then I worked as a substitute teacher, and those experiences showed me that education was what I wanted to do for a career. So I returned to Rutgers and earned a master's in elementary education along with a middle school certificate for teaching social studies. I've had the chance to work in many different districts all over Central Jersey and fill many different roles in the classroom, offering me somewhat of a unique perspective that I try to bring to the board. Once I was selected, I got to work learning more about the district, our district, seeing what some of our needs were, and getting a chance to see the great things that our students are doing in the classrooms, on the playing fields, and in the wider community. When I saw what the needs were, such as facilities that were rapidly becoming outdated, I did my best to make sure that they were addressed in a way that serves students and is also responsible to taxpayers. Thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you throughout the night.
Thank you, everyone. And now for the first question. What are the strengths of BRRSD that need to be preserved and protected because they directly contribute to the district's success? And what are the opportunities for growth? Please name 2 in each area. We will start this round with Mr. Menendez.
Thank you for this question. I don't believe we can have an honest conversation about Bridgewater's success without recognizing the dedication of our educators. They're highly credentialed, hardworking, and well-organized professionals. In the same vein, many of the stories that emanate from the success stories that emanate from Bridgewater have a lot to do with hardworking parents and loving families that encourage and help their children succeed. How many of us have invested hours helping our children understand concepts and procuring the necessary tools for them to thrive? I'm sure everyone on this panel can attest to this. And we're fortunate to live in a district that has many of these tools, but there's always room for improvement. I remember what brought me to Bridgewater. It was the great schools. I said, look at these great ratings, the team sports, and all of these great things this township has to offer. Safe, beautiful neighborhoods, manicured lawns, beautiful parks. But while the neighborhoods and scenery are still bucolic, our performance overall has gone down. With lower test scores and rankings, we need to focus more on the basics, on getting our children a well-rounded education that teaches them not only to think critically, but to think independently, and to encourage the rewards that can only come from performing at a child's full potential in academics, sports, and the arts. Transparency and communication is another area in which the school district could improve upon. Timely, syndicated across multiple media outlets communication should be used to cover all aspects, not just partial information. We should communicate what's working well and what's not. Communicate the benefits as well as the concerns in a straightforward way. Take the referendum communication, for example, the first question. If it had not passed, property taxes would have decreased for the township. Communication that excludes important facts is an example of lack of transparency. Another example, the second part of the referendum, not presenting that there can be other ways to provide full-day kindergarten. That's another example, and it should be presented to the community. Thank you.
Two of the greatest issues and importance to the district now are student learning and fiscal responsibility, the budget. In student learning, the district must focus on academic growth as well as the social and emotional growth of the students. Curriculum and instruction must constantly be reviewed to provide students with the opportunity to excel and achieve at the highest academic level. We also must prepare students to be able to interact with society as effective citizens and leaders. They need to be resilient. They need to be tough. They're going to have them ups and downs. They need to work on being able to do that. Also, in these trying academic times, we must be wise with our finances. As chairman of the Finance, Facilities, and Transportation Committee, has been my responsibility as my role as a board member to ensure that we continue to be efficient and effective with every dollar possible. The referendum is an example of that. In the referendum, yes, taxes will go down, but we have an aging infrastructure that we need to address. In doing the referendum, we were able to receive over $40 million from the state of New Jersey, otherwise we wouldn't have received of taxes. So it was a win-win. Now, taxes may have gone down, but your property values would have gone down accordingly. So the passing of the referendum was a game changer. And all the improvements with the projects of the referendum will help evolve the district. They'll permit Bridgewater to be on par with its similar districts, and also in other districts. And I am so proud of the community for doing that. We need to keep a constant focus. We need to keep our priorities of the referendum, and our district are constantly in front of us, and watch every dollar. Thank you.
For strengths to be preserved, our biggest asset is our teachers. They are our biggest asset, and we should keep investing in their professional development. We should do everything possible to have a low turnover of our teachers. The second asset we have is the diversity of our students. And lots of time people think of diversity as ethnic and cultural. To me, for Bridgewater-Raritan school system, it is the ecosystem of our diversity. It's a nationality, it's an ethnic background, cultural diversity, as well as curriculum diversity. What we offer, not too many schools, they offer the same breadth of programs. So this is a big asset. In regards to our opportunities for growth, the first one is academic excellence. Bridgewater-Raritan is a great school system, but it has evolved over the last decade or so. My 3 kids, they went through the system, and with my hands on the heart, I can tell you the education that my oldest one got many years ago and the education my youngest son got, there was a big difference. And it is, the quality of education has gone down, okay? And it's supported by, the data. Even our own administration has agreed that in Bridgewater-Raritan High School, only 40% students, they take PSAT, whereas the state average is about 70%. The other data point I'm going to give you is the U.S. News rating of the high schools. Bridgewater-Raritan High School was rated 74, this year. 10 years ago, guess what? Bridgewater-Raritan High School was number 34. It has gone down. So there could be various reasons for this declining quality standard. We would have to understand those reasons and address them. The second, the area for growth is parental engagement. Bridgewater-Raritan school system has a very strong PTO network, and parents want to get more involved in life of their children. However, they are dealing with lots of political and cultural barriers. I know, I have only 30 seconds left. I'm going to leave you with one, kind of experience I had as I was experiencing. One dad told me his son changed his name in high school and parents were never notified. Parents were never notified. And if we want parents to kind of get involved, then we need to kind of deal with all these cultural and political barriers. Thank you.
There are many areas of strength, but as asked, I will mention 2. The first area of our schools is our school's outstanding reputation. The Bridgewater-Raritan School District has enjoyed a continued success of the contributions of great teachers, providing eager students with a competitive education. This also includes the arts and sports programs. The second age is to continue to welcome and attract families from all backgrounds, origins to live in our communities with school-age children who they call Bridgewater-Raritan their home. In areas of growth, the first area of growth would be that we should strive to keep any political agendas out of our schools. We need to focus on core academics, especially in kindergarten through 8th grades. Let our kids be kids and enjoy their experiences without being distracted by social or political activism or agenda. The second area of growth is the management of assets. People who have attended the Board of Ed meetings at the Wade building would know that this building is not being efficiently used. The building used to be called the Valley Elementary School and has a beautiful auditorium and gym with many empty classrooms. If we were to need classrooms and school space for kindergarten, why haven't we considered using this building more efficiently? As a longtime resident in the area, I've also seen the closing of the Washington School in Raritan. Now all we have is a tombstone there. My questions are, number one, do we manage our assets with a long-term plan? And number two, are there other school properties that are not efficiently used? Right now, we are proposing to build more classrooms in the middle school as part of the referendum with the plan to move 6th and to join 7th and 8th grades in the middle school. Do we have enough supporting facilities such as cafeteria and gym in the middle school to support students with this plan? Or are we setting ourselves up to discover that we will need to further expand these facilities down the road a couple of years? If so, would any of the voters still think this referendum is a good idea? There seems to be a lack of thorough and comprehensive long-term plan for our school properties. This strategy should be revisited and improved. Thank you.
Thanks. Everyone, so if you ask me, the two greatest strengths of our school district are pretty easy. Those are our staff and our students, who do amazing things each and every day. It's not always easy beating a student, and our kids have a lot of challenges that I didn't even have growing up in the 1990s. But the few times I've gotten to see our kids in the classroom, they're always excited to be learning and eager to show what they can do and what they know. And for the impressive talent we see on display from our athletes and musicians and people doing the robots and actors, what's most inspiring and encouraging is the way you could tell just by watching for a second them working together as a team. And you see some of that here tonight with BRTV, so thank you. And how they are there for each other. And our staff who make that all possible are right there at the top. If you take anything in our district, I think everything could get better. Instruction, academics, everything. And I think, but if I had to single out two things that we could do a little bit better at, one is, unfortunately, on the ballot in November, and that is the opportunity to bring full-day kindergarten, finally, to Bridgewater and Raritan families. I'm from Hillsborough, which is one of the only very few other districts in the state not to have full-day kindergarten. And some people have mentioned to me that this is a political issue, that this is a left or a right issue. But when you consider that every student who goes to school in Sussex County, probably one of the reddest counties in the state, has the opportunity to go to full-day kindergarten, and every kid in Hudson County, which is definitely the bluest, has the chance for full-day kindergarten, I want to make sure that the kids here in Bridgewater and Raritan have that opportunity. Because what we saw during COVID was, wherever you stand on whether the schools should have been opened or closed, we saw a generation of students, particularly younger students, lose the basics and fall behind. And we're still seeing that kind of wave in education. It's creeping through, especially the kids who are youngest and getting the basics. And what we saw during that time was kids receiving half-day, part-time instruction. And I don't want kindergarten students from Bridgewater and Raritan to start with that. I don't want the rest of the county and the rest of the state and the rest of the country to get a head start when our students should be in a developmentally appropriate classroom all day long with a teacher, learning the basics and really receiving an education that makes them want to learn, love school, and want to love learning. One other thing real quick we need to work on is our graduation rate. Compared to other districts like ours, we're a little bit low, and I'm glad to see the administration is finding ways like the PSATs, like alternative courses, to get kids to graduate. Thank you very much.
I believe two strengths are the students and the teachers. From my experience so far, the teachers and staff have been a pleasure to interact with. Both of my sons have had positive experiences with the teachers and classmates while progressing their learning. The teachers are well educated and take great effort to keep the parents informed what their kids are up to on a daily and weekly activities. Opportunities for growth would definitely be the core academics. The fact that test scores have been declining over the past few years obviously shows there's a disconnect. We need to focus more on the importance of quality education and strive for excellence. Ideologies and revisionist history have no place in our schools, and we need to get fact-based curriculum and focus on education. The other area would be security. And most people's main concern is security within the school grounds, but there's also issues with cybersecurity. Many people probably are not even aware that there was a cybersecurity breach that happened last December, and due to lack of transparency and communication, the outcome and what information was compromised was never really given to the public. These are things that need to be discussed and disclosed with the community. Within the school, just last week, one of the primary schools had a glitch in their system where every parent received an email and a phone call that their child was marked absent without any excuse. This prompted many parents to contact the school to see what the problem was, and due to the inundated phone lines, most were not able to get anyone to answer. That caused parents to show up at the school in person to check on the welfare of their child. Once at the building, parents were told by the staff that it was a glitch and that there was no need for concern, and unfortunately the security officer that was on duty was not informed of what was happening, and it made his job much more difficult to deal with the concerned parents. I think security upgrades over the past few years have been an improvement, and would like to see more police presence at the schools. Thankfully, this was just a glitch, and that nothing was a true emergency. Communication obviously broke down in this situation, and it would be a major thing that I would like to address if voted. Thank you.
Hello. Our first strength that I'd like to mention includes our staff, our students, and our community. I have seen firsthand the dedication and love so many teachers give to our children, and I have seen how our students flourish, whether it be in academics, athletics, arts, and volunteerism. We bring in new programs every year at all grade levels to take advantage of new programming and initiatives. We provide opportunity at every turn, and the community supports our children and our schools by attending their events, their plays, their games, their concerts. So we all work together for the betterment of the children. I can only see that continuing to grow. A second strength is the use of technology. The implementation of Chromebooks for all students during the past few years has been a game changer. We can fondly look back on our own unplugged youth, but the reality is that our children have to be prepared for the future, and that means embracing technology in all its forms. While many families have the privilege of providing these opportunities at home, providing the standard at school ensures equity amongst all of our students. The most obvious opportunity for growth is the expansion of our schools in the implementation of full-day kindergarten. This has been an ongoing discussion for all 18 years that I've been here, and I'm sure many years before. And I will use this platform to encourage everyone to vote yes on the referendum on Election Day. We are one of less than 10 districts in the entire state that does not offer a full-day program. The state curriculum for kindergarten is planned for a full-day program because everyone else has full-day kindergarten. So our district has to adapt to fit that programming into a shortened day. This leaves little time for play-based learning and exploration. We want our children to receive the same opportunities and more than any other district. We want to attract families with young children to our district, and it is a fact that homes are more desirable in districts with full-day kindergarten. A second opportunity goes hand in hand with the strength of embracing technology. While it is incredibly important that students have the world at their fingertips, it is equally important that they learn how to unplug and unwind. We see this when children get their energy out at recess at our primary schools, and when they get to join after-school athletic programs, of which there are many. At the high school, I would love to see outlets during the new extended lunch period for physical activities like yoga, meditation, stretching, etc. We also have a wonderful arts program in Bridgewater at all levels, but it is also an area where there could be more opportunities for more students. Many studies confirm that art education enhances academic learning. We need more of this.
Thank you, everyone. And now for the second question. Regarding the district's transportation issues over the past few years. What are some changes that you would make to ensure that students make it to school on time and arrive at home on time? We will start this round with Mr. Agarwal.
There are two issues related to our transportation system. The first issue is directly related to safety and well-being of our students. I'm aware of several cases where young children were left in the bus alone and parents were not aware of their whereabouts for extended period. This is unfortunate that this issue hasn't been addressed in the last 2-3 years. Regarding my approach, my first priority will be to drive a sense of urgency. To me, when it comes to safety and security of our children, it should not take 2-3 years. It should take 2-3 days. That's number one. Number two, we have the technology. We need to equip our buses with interconnected video system allowing remote monitoring of the interior. This measure will ensure that the school authorities can verify that all students are picked up, transported safely, and dropped off on time. The third recommendation is, if I'm elected, third thing I would do is have a service level agreement with our transportation department and the third party vendor. Folks, when we call a vendor, they tell you that call will be returned 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and so forth. We need to have some kind of service level agreement where our transportation department, for these type of calls, when the student is missing, is left alone on the bus, they must call back in minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not in hours. That should be unacceptable. The third, the other aspect of transportation issue is related to cost and the time it takes to transport our students. As I said, technology is there. GPS. We need to make sure all our buses, they have the advanced GPS system. And I understand, the cost. We have, very, kind of spread out districts. And we have one high school, and it takes kind of transporting students from different areas, and it will take time, but at some point of time we need to kind of look at our cost, because comparable school districts, their transportation cost is lower than our cost. So we need to take advantage of the technology and look at our cost. Thank you.
Let's just cut to the chase. The transportation issues are a real problem. It is not acceptable for a parent to not know where their child is for over an hour while traveling home from school. I think there is a lot of room for improvement. The recent board approval of GPS tracking is a great start, but why didn't this happen years before? In addition to GPS, I would like to explore having other devices installed on the buses to make sure students are safely transported, but we have to be careful with this. I understand we already have a dedicated phone line, but that doesn't seem to be working. We're using the same technology that I grew up with in the 60s. Come on, we can do better than that. It's important to communicate quickly with parents in real time with newer technology. I also hear the argument attributing problems to the drivers. I would argue that the drivers aren't the issue. We need effective management. If one of my jobs is not going right, it's my fault, not the guys that I hire. Thank you.
A few years ago, I was working in a long-term position in a middle school somewhere else in our county, and the assistant principal came up to me and asked if I wanted to ride along on a bus route to help settle things down a little bit. I lied and said I'd be absolutely thrilled to do that, and thank you for the invitation. Once I got going, it was actually a pleasure. I enjoyed the ride through the great scenery and enjoyed the chance to just relax a little bit, and even the kids settled down after just a minute or two. But the best part of the ride was getting to know our driver and the drivers who filled into him. So I want to start this question by thanking the great transportation staff members, our drivers, and everyone who's working hard to get our kids safely to and home from school. One of the other things that happened on that route during that experience was I saw just how susceptible transportation and busing in particular is to little things that go wrong. There was one day our regular driver was out, he had a sub, and I noticed about 2 minutes later we were going the wrong direction and we were in a different spot than we should have been. I asked, what's going on? It turned out that the driver was running the route backwards. So thankfully we were able to get the kids clued in on that so they got off the bus at the right spot. But if we hadn't caught on to what was happening, that could have easily delayed us, has sent us back, and caused a spillover effect for the routes at the elementary school. Now, at the beginning of this year, there were issues like that happened far too much, and the district does need to do a better job of planning and getting off to a strong start. But when I go around and talk at the same, and I give everyone a ton of credit, the students in particular who were who did have some long bus rides in traffic, so I give everyone a lot of credit. At the same time, when I go around and talk to people, and if I meet anyone who has students in the district, I ask, how's the busing doing? Is it gotten better? And the answer I hear is it was not great for the first week or so, but it's much better now and much more reliable. A minute or two late every now and then, but it's reliable. And I think that's a credit to our drivers, our dispatchers, everyone who works in transportation, and particularly our administration who brought to us a package of fixes to try to make things better, bringing on a consultant to work specifically on this issue who already knew our district because he was planning some long-range things, and improving the GPS. I think we had some of that before, but we are improving and making that GPS work better. The good news is that things for the most part are back on track. So hang in there, and I appreciate everyone's patience with the transportation, and I'm glad that it's working much better now. Thanks.
Since my kids don't take the school transportation, I can only go off of what other parents tell me and the limited information provided to the public by the district. But all in all, it sounds as if the transportation has been a disaster with everyone that I speak with. The issues has many complex factors, and they all have function in the execution of the system. The issue begins with the quality of the companies that provide the transportation services. We need to be asking questions like, do they devise a critical analysis of the routes, and are they doing dry runs prior to the start of the school year? If so, how often is it reassessed? And once the school year starts and some kids don't take the bus, are routes altered? There's also the question of why is GPS tracking not used in the buses? The answer to all these questions are they should be. And there are applications available that provide tracking for parents to know when their kids are being picked up and dropped off and how late the bus is running. The safety and well-being of the students should be at the highest priority, and it starts with getting them to school safely and in a timely manner in order to learn. The current plan to consolidate the schools could put more strain on the transportation, and as far as I can see, transportation issues have not been handled well, and it has been this way year after year with no solutions. Unfortunately, with the limited information shared with the public, it's difficult to devise a well-thought-out plan without all the facts.
If 99% of the kids have a great experience on the bus, what do you say to the 1% who don't? That's the problem. We can do as well as we can, but if anyone is left on a bus, if anyone is late getting home, then there's a problem. There's a twofold answer. First, we have to ensure that the companies that bid and win our transportation contracts have the means and plan to succeed for our students. That means requiring practice days for all the drivers, including substitutes. It means having communication available at all times, making sure that phones are always answered, even if they have to be forwarded to other departments who can man the phones during busy periods. At arrival times at each school, you see teachers, staff directing traffic, ensuring safe walking paths, and welcoming students, no matter what other role they play in the school during the day. During busing times, we need that same focus, ensuring that every matter is handled in a timely manner. The second portion of my answer is again embracing technology. We can track a UPS truck coming to our homes from 15 stops away. There is technology available to give parents the same access to see our buses arriving as well. There's a cost, and that has to be considered, but the technology is there. We have to consider all options to make sure our children are safe during what is truly the riskiest part of their day.
I believe that a safe and efficient transportation service is of paramount importance. If we are to bus our kids to school at all, it should be done safely. We have been hearing about parents at school board meetings that are frustrated that their children have been left on a bus unaccounted for, and while no system will ever be perfect, and the shortage of bus drivers statewide is challenging, there are avenues for improvement. More advanced logistics systems that can track buses in real time have been available for quite some time. And while I commend the Transportation Committee for just recently approving the use of GPS devices on district-owned buses, modern and efficient systems have been available for years and clearly overdue. It begs the question, why has this been overlooked for so long? We can explore apps for parents to keep track of kids. I believe there's a lot we could do, but it would start with sitting down with the transportation officials and addressing their concerns and challenges, identifying problems. Look to the most advanced software or systems available as a guide in developing a comprehensive modernization plan. Focus on efficiency and consulting with subject matter experts as needed, as the need arises. We're a large school district with 11 schools and face many challenges. There is a wide geographic area to cover, and the largest stress on the system will come from school routes that are centralized as they account for greater road time. This is something that should be considered as we explore further centralization through middle school expansion. Thank you.
Transportation is a problem not just in Bridgewater but nationwide. We found some issues when you look at what's going on with the online merchandising. So commercial driver's license drivers are in demand, and so they're going places that pay better. I can honestly tell you, I serve on the Somerset County Educational Services Commission, and we just recently shut down our busing department. We used to bus for Bridgewater and about other districts throughout both preschool, pre, post, and activities. It's not easy. Bus drivers are difficult. How many people have ever had 40 kids in their minivan driving somewhere? Not many. There's a lot of things going on. We do have monitoring on the buses, I can tell you that. There's a lot of things that happen, so if there is an incident, there is video recording. We are able to look at that, and a lot of people know it. We've used it in many scenarios. I'm going to address this in two ways. How I personally can do it, and how I can do it as a board member. Personally, I will advocate for appropriate safeguards for our students. You know, I'd actually like to shut down the roads when the kids go to school, because there wasn't traffic. I wouldn't have a car blocking the way. I wouldn't have that interference. We had a water break this morning. That affected transportation. I'm also looking for more sidewalks, better crossing guards, and traffic management. It's all part of the whole system working at. As a board member, I have advocated for transportation. Believe me. We just recently, a year ago, we looked at our bus routes. We had inefficiency in our routes. We wanted to find out what the best method was to do that. We brought in a consultant. He came back and said, hey, here's how we can redo it with both timing and schedules, and the routing numbers increasing and decreasing. We also have just recently entered into an agreement with that vendor again to optimize our routes. Busing is difficult, and optimizing your routes, because we work on a tiered system. What I mean by that is we have some busing running 3 bus routes in the morning and sometimes 2 bus routes. So one little mess up, a mom or a dad takes long to put the kid in the bus, there's a car in front that won't move or an accident, that delays that 2 or 3 minutes. That then trickles onto the rest of the buses. Communication is key. We have the apps in place where we can monitor the buses. The transportation part, believe me, they work hard. And I know our drivers are incredible for what they do every day, and we value them. So as a board member, our role is oversight. I will ensure that the administration addresses these issues, which they are, moving them forward with a plan. We've also put in place, to help the timing and issues moving forward, is that the referendum has addressed some pick-up and drop-off issues that have impacted the timing of routes. Some schools aren't very efficient in those areas, and in the referendum, there are plans in there to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And now for the third and final question. What are you uniquely bringing to our students as a candidate? We will start this round with Mr. Pepe.
So right now I'm proud to be the only classroom teacher serving on the Bridgewater-Raritan Board of Education, and as far as I know, the only candidate running for election to that body. So when issues and proposals come before the board, everyone brings a unique perspective to assessing whether it's a good solution and whether it's ultimately the right decision for our district. I am honored to bring the perspective of a classroom teacher who sees what children and teachers go through on a day-by-day, class-by-class, and lesson-by-lesson basis. In my career, I've taught first grade resource room, I've taught fourth grade, including during the pandemic, fifth grade, middle school special education for students with significant medical disabilities, and even eighth grade English, which was my favorite, especially once I got to read 100 essays and grade them. I have also served in a number of different school districts. I currently work in Hunterdon County. I have served as a substitute long-term teacher in schools like Trenton, Piscataway, Bridgewater, Franklin Township here in Somerset County, and Bound Brook. It gives me a little bit of a perspective to see things that work and things that don't work in other schools. And I'm privileged to bring that perspective to the board, other than that just being a really great life experience and getting to meet people from across the really all of central New Jersey. Since I got on the board, I've made it my mission, it's been an honor to see as many of our students in action as possible, attending plays, looking for athletic events to attend, and seeing the great things that our clubs, marching bands, and activities are doing. As a part of that, I'm always looking to see if there are ways that could help. I made it a point to go as soon as I got appointed to the board, to start going to meetings of the Raritan Borough Council, which apparently Board of Education members hadn't done for some time. When I was there, I learned that there had been some issue getting the rec programs into JFK School that had been going on for, as far as I know, over a decade. And no one could really tell me why it was a problem, but I knew it probably wouldn't be. So I made a point to talk to the administration, put the right people in contact, and sure enough, everyone who's in those positions now was more than happy to make that happen for the kids in Raritan. And I was honored to just be able to push that along. So that's the kind of thing I'm always looking to do, to see if there's something that could be better for people in Raritan, people in Bridgewater, and our schools. Thanks.
I believe I bring a unique skill set to our students. Two would be discipline and resilience, both physically and mentally. As I stated earlier, I am in what's considered to be the gym business. Physically, I push myself and others every day, and to lead by example not only for my own children, but for anyone who wants to better themselves. From a resiliency standpoint, My business survived the greatest government overreach in our lifetime, one that saw roughly 3 out of every 10 small businesses permanently close and shut down 1 of every 5 fitness facilities across the nation. My mental discipline is what kept my business alive during this time. When times get tough and unforeseen problems arise, you need to reassess, recalibrate, and take action. Kids need to be taught that things don't always come easy. Discipline and hard work trumps all. With mine and my running mate Hector's real-life experience on starting, building, maintaining, and growing productive businesses, we would be best suited to find these solutions. I have daily exposure and interaction with people, and I'm not someone who just sits behind a desk at a computer and listens to the things I read on Facebook. I can offer a lot of things to think outside of the box, along with common sense practices to find the best for all solutions.
I believe public education is important, and it is important that all students have equal opportunities and a safe environment to learn. I'm excited for the changes that have begun with regard to equity and would certainly use my vote to support further goals. I am coming into this election with no agenda. I have seen what is happening in other districts in both our state and our country. I fully support parents having the opportunity to opt their child out of things they disagree with. I would also never take away another parent's rights to allow their child a full and enriched education, which, for example, includes a child's freedom to discover and appreciate all the books that are curated by our librarians. I am not endorsed by any ideological or political groups. If I had to say I had any goal, it would be to keep Board of Education meetings boring. I want to support our superintendent in his goals to provide the best education and experience possible for all of our students and our teachers, because that is the role of a Board of Education member. While I was only able to attend meetings sparingly before COVID while my children were younger, once the Board of Education meetings went online, I rarely missed tuning in. Additionally, I have been attending meetings in person all summer and fall to acclimate myself to the agendas and climate and to be able to begin participating as soon as possible with as short a learning curve as possible. To my knowledge, I'm the only candidate outside of the current sitting members who has done this.
As a father of school-aged children, I understand the challenges that young people face as they juggle getting good grades, engaging in extracurricular activities like sports and part-time work, and at the same time having friends and just being a kid. Childhood and adolescence are important times in which many of the skills that help determine future success are learned. I recognize the important collaborative effort between supportive family environment and dedicated teachers, where independent thinking, responsibility, goals, and rewards are promoted in order to shape a well-rounded, talented self-learner. The school district should help families and their students in this endeavor. I will use my diagnostic scientific background to identify problems and solutions while focusing on the greater good. Thank you.
I feel I bring experience and passion to serve our students. In the 9 years on the board, I've gained a great breadth and depth of experience. I've been vice president, committee chair, served on the Somerset County Educational Services Commission for 5 years and president for 2. I've served in the Somerset School Board Association, where we develop relationships with other board members throughout the county and the state. We're not alone in what we're doing. There's transportation issues elsewhere. There's learning issues elsewhere. We share with that. We help to share information to help solve problems together as a big community. I also serve at a level advocating for the community on the New Jersey School Board Association Board of Directors. We work in advocacy there. We make decisions to statewide. We have legislative liaisons that work with the representatives and try to move forward policy and regulations, because that's what governs what we do in a district to make them successful. I also most recently have joined the New Jersey School Athletic Association Executive Board, representing our community, because it's a big part of what our students, the extracurricular activities are important. Some other areas. I have a good experience because we've gone through policy review when I started on this board. We did a strategic plan. Throughout the referendum, we had over 40 different meetings. We had planning meetings and surveys and assessments. We've gone through in the referendum, over $240 million projects. We pared down to a palatable, tax-neutral referendum on the first question, seeing how it does. We've done long-range strategic plans. We have looked at the demographic survey of the growth of students and where it's changing. We looked at the roads and access in the district, how to best serve that. We've done facilities plans, so we know what roof's going to fail next, what we're looking at from a sidewalk. We've looked at planning for structures. As you've seen the upgrades we've done in the building, we've done planning to accommodate you at lunch and the routes around it. The demographic survey has shown us a lot, seeing that our enrollment's declining, but we still have to do things appropriately, and we make sure the needs of the students are met. There are issues we're trying to bring back, I've learned, from COVID, and also get moving forward. So my breadth of experience in the 9 years of the board, I feel be better able to serve the community of Bridgewater. Thank you.
If I'm elected to the Board of Education, I will bring extensive financial acumen and experience. I will be the only true financial professional on the Board of Education with real-world experience with a highly respected Fortune 100 company. I will be someone who will not be afraid to ask tough questions. I will be someone who will be challenging our administration to drive educational experience. When you are driving educational experience, it is going to take resources, and raising taxes all the time is not the solution. We need to be more efficient in how we spend our money. I'm going to give you an example. Our student enrollment has been going down. In 2015, we had 8,600 students, and today we have 8,100 students. So student enrollment has gone down. And guess what? Our administrators, assistant superintendents. In 2015, we had one assistant superintendent, and today we have many. So when we add more administrative cost, it limits our ability to invest more in our students and more in our teachers. And so as I'm in the Board of Education member, I will ensure resources are spent right, will allow to put more in education and less on administrative overhead. With my financial background, I will be able to bring forward these challenges to ensure we are investing more in education. What happens? When you look at, if you are a non-finance professional, and if you look at 10 lines in Bridgewater-Raritan School District financial statement, it doesn't tell you anything. And in most cases, people go by the flow. But as a finance professional, I will look behind those 10 lines. As they say, looking under the hood. That's what I will be doing. It doesn't mean that I will be managing. That is superintendent and his team's job. But I believe Board of Education should not go by the flow. They need to be the devil's advocate, and managing our resources is very, very important. And with my finance background, that's what I will be doing. And that is the unique expertise I will be bringing to the BOE. Thank you.
I have a unique background as a tradesman among the current board members and candidates. I worked hard all my life. The past 35 years as a business owner have been great and rewarding. As with any business, there have been challenges and obstacles along the way. You learn to be creative and resourceful while also considering the initial and any ongoing costs. My career is built from the hands-on, boots-on-the-ground perspective. Relationships with my wife, business partners, customers, co-workers, and suppliers are equally important. We want every student to succeed. We should make sure that the schools teach the fundamental basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic, and getting the next generation ready for life to be successful in whatever career path they choose. The biggest problem I hear and see from employers is getting qualified people to fill jobs. It's important that we also make students aware of other career paths working in the trades. My lifetime experience will help me recognize the needs of our schools while balancing the concerns of citizens, taxpayers, parents, and teachers. If elected, this role will give me an opportunity to channel your collective voices. It would give me an open door of communication and make myself available to listen to thoughts, suggestions, and concerns. It would be an honor to work collaboratively with other board members to assist and guide our schools in order to help students through life's challenges that will come their way. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And now for our closing statements for this evening. We will begin with Ms. Hasuna.
I'll keep this short. Again, thank you for this opportunity. A special thank you to Noah and Gianna, Mr. Black, Mr. Linzer, and the entire team at Bridgewater-Raritan TV. I wish that I had had this opportunity when I was in high school. This is amazing. We're all stakeholders here, all of us. And ideally, we all want what is best for our children, our district, and our community. I can tell you that I am prepared. I have been training. I have been attending seminars every week. I have done everything that I can to be ready to take on this job. And I look forward to giving back to our community in this way. I'm appreciative for the experience my children have received and will do what I can to assist making our district even better for everyone else's children and to help make our township an even more desirable place to live. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you for this opportunity tonight. In conclusion, I would like to thank this panel and all those involved in providing this forum, not the least of whom are these dedicated students who are honing their skills in film and production. It's a fine example of the many opportunities that exist for all students and a reminder that our community is naturally quite equitable and inclusive. A vote for myself and Jared Hahn is a vote for increased communication, meaning it's not enough to post something on a district website. It also means greater communication with parents who may be unaware of policies like District Policy 5657 that addresses gender identity and other mental health issues. Furthermore, it means advocating for a well-rounded education that produces students with greater range and the ability to think freely. It also means focusing on efficiency and thinking outside the box, and a commitment to doing what's best for all students. We're for Bridgewater kids. We don't look to stand for or pledge allegiance to any interest group outside of our local community. We welcome any person or group to support us in what we stand for, and will not back down in representing the best interests of our local students, families, and residents. It is Bridgewater residents, families, groups, and local government that we seek to work with, represent, and look out for. And we'd be honored and proud of any such local support. Thank you.
I'm running for re-election for the Board of Education because I am passionate about providing the best possible education. Every child deserves a high-quality education, and a board member is a trustee to ensure that every child receives the education to be successful academically, emotionally, and socially. Serving the Board of Education has been a privilege entrusted to me by the electorate. I have learned so much of my 3 terms, and I am confident I possess the skills and qualities required to be a board member, to work collaboratively with my fellow board members and the superintendent. It is about doing your best, giving back, and helping to make the best educational system possible. I feel my experience, honesty, integrity, passion for achievement of all students makes me the best to serve the community for another 3 years. Vote Walker for the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity for sharing my thoughts and perspective on various questions that were presented. Bridgewater-Raritan has a great school system, but it is not what it was used to be. We need to get back to the basics and put our focus on educational and developmental excellence. This is going to require financial prudence and expertise to put more money in education and less in administrative overhead. For that reason, we need someone on the Board of Education who has financial acumen and expertise, someone who will ask tough questions, someone who will hold self, Board of Education, and administration accountable, someone who will bring Board of Education members together to deliver real results. With my financial and private sector experience with a highly respected Fortune 100 company, I believe I am that candidate. Therefore, I'm requesting your vote for Umesh Agrawal, column C, for the Raritan seat. Thank you so much.
The Board of Education serves a large community. I believe in keeping up to date with current issues that affect our students. I support the strong academic curriculum. College is great, but it's not for everyone. We want every student to be successful in whatever career path they choose. Learning should be exciting and fun. We also want to remind people that political or social agendas have no place in our schools. It would be a privilege to be part of the collaborative process for the educational experience of our students. I'm Jeffrey McNally from the Borough of Raritan. I humbly ask Raritan residents to vote column B, Jeffrey McNally for school board. Thank you.
So I just want to thank everyone here tonight, starting with my fellow candidates, particularly folks from Raritan. Thank you very much for being here and sharing your perspective. Thank you to Gianna and Noah for moderating this, and everyone at BRTV, particularly Ethan and Sydney, for helping us here on stage. Thank you very much. Hi. So every day as a teacher, I focus on my students' success, safety, and well-being. And I'm honored to, in the last year that I've been on the board, to help keep the Board of Education's focus right there. As Raritan's only representative, I've had the chance to meet lots of great people, to have lots of great conversations, and I've worked hard to make sure that our diverse and wonderful town's voice and needs are represented on the Board of Education. I'd be honored if I had the chance to do this for another term. Thank you very much for supporting me last year, and I'd be honored and humbled if voters in Raritan considered supporting me for re-election. Thank you very much.
Vote for myself and my running mate, Hector Menendez, would be a vote for putting Bridgewater students first. We need people with leadership abilities and innovative solutions. We would look into addressing the reasons for the testing decline and to provide the most nurturing learning environment and the best fact-based curriculum to encourage critical thinking and growth. We'd look to provide safe and efficient transportation to get the kids to school safely and on time. And maybe most importantly, we would strive for transparency of policy changes to keep parents and stakeholders informed. For example, as a health and fitness professional, I want to bring to everyone's attention District Policy 5657 that is currently in effect in our school district. This policy sets guidelines for locker room usage and sports participation for transgender students, as well as parental notification. From a health and safety perspective, if not handled well, there was potential concern regarding unintended exposure to the opposite sex and the requirement for more mental health support. Parents need full transparency and attention on the matter to protect the vulnerable. We should not be geared towards the people that make the most noise, but to what is the best for all solutions. There are many things I would like to take a deeper look into and get all the facts straight to start to develop a strategy for positive change. But first, we need your vote to allow us to create the change and the betterment for our students. Vote column C for Bridgewater Kids, Hahn and Menendez. Thank you.
We'd like to thank all of the candidates for being here with us tonight and for giving our audience an insight into their positions on the issues involving education here in Bridgewater-Raritan. On behalf of the Council of Schools Association, we would like to encourage everyone to vote in the school board election during the general elections on Tuesday, November 7th. Please make every effort to get out and vote. Again, thank you to all of the candidates for sharing your evening with us, and thank you to all watching this presentation. For the Council of Schools Association and BRTV, I'm Noah Powelson.
And I'm Gianna Jacobowski. Good night.